Hello everybody, I am Raghavesh here. Welcome back to lecture 2. In last video session we learned about the embedded system, and to be specific about 8051 microcontroller, and also we learned the generic block diagram and various subsystems of generic block diagram, and also I have shown you the pinout details of 8051 microcontroller. We learned that there is about 40 pins in that microcontroller, and also there are various features such as the internal memory and the port and timer, things like that, which we learned. So before you continue with this video, you must be fully aware of the what we covered in lecture 1. Now let us move on to the lecture 2. In this lecture we are going to cover about the memory organization and also the bit addressable locations and the stack and the basic oscillator circuit and the reset circuit. Okay, so once we finish up this, in the next session onwards we will be in a position to discuss or design the simple circuits using the microcontrollers, and also we will not discuss any instructions up to video 3. So these first 3 videos going to help you to prepare yourself for developing the microcontroller based systems. Now 8051 is having both on chip and also off chip memory options. That means it is going to support us. If you look for a external memory, it is possible. Are you happy with the internal memory? Is also possible to use. And of course there are different mechanisms there given in a data sheet. I will show you like how it is organized, and the memory space can be accessed by various methods. There is a specific method how you can access the data from a memory. Okay, sometimes accessing consecutive data are very much needed in some applications. So as a microcontroller, it should be able to support us in an easy method how we can access the consecutive memory locations. Okay, the memory spaces here like on chip code memory, and we have data memory, and off chip again code and data memory, and on chip special function register, we call it as a SFR. You can see here the code memory is something having a address spectrum from 00040 to 4F. Okay, it is an hexadecimal notation. If you convert the X value 4Fs into decimal, you will find it 65,536. Okay, so since it's starting with the 0, we have to add a 1, and when you convert into the kilobyte, 1 kilobyte equals 1024 bytes. So when you convert it, you will see 64 kilobyte. The total address spectrum is 64 kilobyte. Based on the type of 8051 or 8052 or some other higher end versions, if you use, the spectrum will support up to maximum 64 kilobyte. Okay, and I also told you 8051 has a 4 kilobyte memory. Okay, so 4 kilobyte means again in decimal 1024 is for 1 kilo, multiply with 4. Okay, if you look at the hex value 100, but we start with the 0, that means the minus 1 will give you FFF. That means you see here the code memory is starting from 0 location, and it is there up to 0FFF. Okay, and you can see here the EA as a 0. As I mentioned, if EA is 0, there is a hardware pin I have shown you in my earlier video. If EA is 0 means it's external memory. If you want to program the microcontroller and you want to execute the instruction from the internal memory, the EA value must be 1, and which has been controlled by a hardware pin called PSEN. No, you would like to have an external memory. Okay, or then what you do is, yes, it is possible to interface external memory with the proper address and data decoding, but the maximum spectrum will go up to only 64 kilobyte. Okay, now what about data memory? You can see the data memory. We have a RAM, and the internal memory is from 00 to FF. Again, FF, if we convert into decimal, it is 255. So when you start from 0 to 255, we have 256 bytes. Whereas in my earlier video, I have shown you the features. It is having 128 bytes. Remaining 128 bytes comes under category as a special function registers. Okay. So we have the information here. The code memory is 4 kilobyte, and the data memory is 256 bytes, and it includes both SFR and the RAM, which is for the user. Okay, and we can go up to maximum 64 kilobyte. And as I mentioned, we can use either internal or external memory. Okay, and these are the information I discussed in an earlier slide. And data memory we can access through the read and write signal. This is only required when we are looking for external memory. Otherwise, it's not required for internal memory and all. Okay. And you can see here 8051 has 256 bytes RAM, but all are not available for user. So this is a code memory, how it is located. We start from 0 and it goes up to FFF. Okay, that means it's a full spectrum, and we have shown only here the first few vector locations. Whenever you start the system or whenever you switch on the microcontroller, we need to provide something called a reset circuit. Okay, the reset circuit will put the microcontroller in a well-known state. This is nothing but, you can see here, it starts always from 0. Like as you see, most of the product, when you start, it performs all the time the same operation. So how it happens? Every time you switch on, we need to make a reset circuit such a way that to start from this location, this is our reset vector. We call it as a reset vector. Okay, so there are also other interrupt sources which we will discuss in our later sessions. Okay, so what as a programmer we have to do is, we have to start with the reset vector, and the space is very minimum here. You can see only few bytes. So from here we have to point to the program to go to the other locations. Here we have to write our user programs, like whatever programs you want to write, you have to write over here. Okay, so after reset, the CPU start executing instructions from 000H, and this is called as a reset vector. And you can see the data memory, as I mentioned, it starts with 0, it goes up to FF, that means total 256. Whereas in that one, we have special function register off, that means 128 bytes, and remaining 128 bytes, we have a RAM. Again, we don't have access to all these 128 bytes. I'll explain about that in next slide. Okay, so this is a user accessible RAM, in other words. Okay, and 8051 have actually 256 bytes RAM, plus there will be a special function register of 128 bytes. This RAM can be accessed using a direct address mode. With this has to be accessed through indirect addressing mode, which I don't want to discuss more in this video. When time comes, I will let you know about it. Okay, and you can see this is the memory location of SFR, special function register, and you can see 80, it is reserved for port 0. The address location 80. Why I am telling always 80? I can't pronounce this as a 80 because it's a hexadecimal number. Okay, so 80 is reserved for P0. P0 stands for port 0, and 90 is for port 1 and port 2 and port 3. In the last video, I have shown you the block diagram. Whatever the blocks, internal blocks you have seen, all of them are mapped to a particular address over here. As you can see here, tmod, pcon, there are so many SFRs which we will be covering in our lecture sessions. Okay, Now you can see here there is a special feature in the microcontroller called bit addressable RAM, and this is from location 202 2F is called as a bit addressable RAM. As I mentioned earlier, even in a RAM location we have here 0 to 80 is not for all of them for user. For user it's available from only from 40. Up to that we have different functions like registers, bank 0, bank 1, bank 2, bank 3, like that. And also we have a bit addressable location. Okay, so what is that bit addressable location and where it is used? Most of us we are aware when we are developing some hardware circuit, maybe you want to do some signaling like is data available. Okay, if data is available, then you may need to go for data transfer. So assume such conditions you want to use actually a single bit signaling. We don't want to have a full variable there. We want only a single bit which we need to show as a 0 or 1. If it is 0, we say unsuccessful. If it is 1, we say successful. So if it is 1 and we want to perform certain action, in such cases we no need to reserve a full byte. Instead, so a byte is comprised of 8 bits. We need to use only a bit in which you can have here as a 0 or 1, which is going to indicate us regarding a particular task has been completed or not. Okay, so for such applications we will be using this bit addressable RAM, and this is also a special feature of microcontrollers. And you can see here 20 to 2F, if you count, is about 16 with 8. Okay, there will be 128 number of locations are there. Okay, and also in SFR we have about 82 bits, like we can control the individual bits making on or off. Like to turn on some system we need to just make that bit as a 1. Okay, so this is also called as a bit addressable location. So in total we have 210 bit addressable locations with 8051. Okay, and as I mentioned, it is generally used for some software development and it can be set or cleared. Of course we can do a lot of logical operations also like AND or XOR using these bit addressable locations. Okay, and the stack, as I mentioned in my initial sessions, if you are going to develop the program using assembly language, we need to learn more about the stack, whereas with C language we just have a basic concept. Its stack is used for temporary storage, and the internal RAM also have a portion which is reserved for the stack memory. To that extent we try to understand, that's more than enough. So what we will be doing in our next few slides, as I mentioned, not a few slides, sorry, few lectures, we will be developing a simple circuit which is going to control the LED. For that, first you must know about the oscillator circuit. Yesterday itself, in my last video, I told you like there is a 2 pins in which you are going to connect the crystal. Okay, so these pins we are going to connect a crystal. If you connect, let us say like 12 megahertz crystal, so we will be producing a clock at the rate of 12 megahertz. Okay, and we can choose the crystal, or we can decide about the speed of operation, whereas we always go ahead with a specific number here, 11.0592 megahertz crystal. This is one of the standard crystal which has been used in 8051 applications, and the reason why we will be discussing it in our upcoming videos. And you can see this is a machine cycle which the crystal oscillator will produce. And as I mentioned, the simple reset circuit is going to have a important role, which is going to put the microcontroller always in a well defined state. So what is that simplest hardware? You can see is a microcontroller. It's, of course we power it with the VCC, and there is a ground, and pin number 9 is for reset, and we are going to connect through the simple RC arrangement. This is called as a reset circuit. Okay, so once you